Well, the experiment is finally concluded, at least for now. Let's dive into this strange little endeavor. Automata 2 by Between the Buried and Me. So I'm going to start this one with a little bit of housekeeping. In my original review for Automata 1, I said that it was an EP and that the follow-up was going to come in a couple of years or something along those lines. And yeah, so it turns out that these are two separate LPs. They're very, very short, both coming in at just over 30 minutes or so. And so what do we have with Automata 2? In some respects, it is a follow-up to Automata 1, but it's not quite like a follow-up to the Parallax, that's where I thought that this was going to go. In fact, these are just two halves of the same whole of two different things. I like that they tried something different in this case. Like, Between the Buried and Me have been progressing in a number of ways throughout their discography. Ever since their Alaska album, they've been really trying new things and trying and experimenting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work as well. Like, I wouldn't say anything is quite a full-on failure yet. And I would even include the Automata series, Automata 1 and 2. Automata 1, I didn't get into. I thought it was probably the weakest release that they put out, probably since Alaska. It's just, I didn't really see the point. I knew it was left unfinished, and I wouldn't see the point until Automata 2 came out. I will say that Automata 2 far exceeded my expectations, and I don't know if that was because Automata 1 kind of lowered the bar a little bit for me, or if they were just kind of saving a lot of their really meaty and juicy stuff until now. This album is only 4 tracks long, with, I believe, just over 30 minutes worth of music. And the thing that I've noticed within this is the signature sound of Between the Buried and Me is still there. You've got the chaos, you've got that blast beats, you've got that really heavy deathcore sound going on there. But as with the later albums within their career, they have taken a step back from being completely brutal. And I mean, we've seen this since Alaska, but that brutality has been subdued quite a bit. And a lot of those really big playouts are actually not being played at like the peak of the insanity, but rather when the music is more on the mellow side. And this was something that I'm kind of glad that they're trying their hands in a little bit more. If anything, this is opening the doors to a larger fan base and a larger audience. It is a little bit more accessible, especially those who love the guitar work. Tommy, the lead singer, isn't growling and screaming the entire time. There's a significant amount of clean vocals on here. There's a lot more fun to be found within this album. In fact, Glide and The Voice of Trespass are both very fun songs, and fun in that kind of great misdirect. They've incorporated almost like a carnival type of a sound, that jazzy 40s and 30s type of a sound. And I really like that instillment of music on there. I love it, but there's a moment within that jazzy point where I feel like they overused the horn section within it, where it's that dun 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 dun, and I just didn't like that presentation. I didn't like how repetitive it was without really changing it up at all. I didn't feel like they really did anything with that note sequence, and they kept falling back onto it, which, like, it wasn't all that original, it wasn't all that fun, it wasn't all that exciting, and I was wondering why, especially in the midpoint of this track, they continued to really utilize and really, like, shine the light on that particular piece there. But that is the low point of the album. The rest of the album is quite a treat, actually. And sticking on Voice of Trespass for a minute, I love how this song ends. And it's like a lot of other songs. I'm going to use this as a springboard for a number of tracks on this album, in that they really found a beautiful environment to play in and just poured a really great guitar lick or piece in that. And Tommy on the keyboards providing a great environment for that, I thought was really well done. Like that really smooth playing where it's that like, it's that really nice slide. And I know I've heard it before from Between the Buried and Me, and that is another knock like, there's a few moments on this album that I feel are right from some of their past works, and I don't know if there's a lot of whole original material on this, but I did at least enjoy those. And as I mentioned, each song has this moment on it where I'm just like, yeah, that was really, really nice and really juicy within the guitar works. They're not blowing down the doors, but they are definitely providing a really great moment to play in. But I do want to end this with talking about the grind for a little bit, because this is my favorite track off of the album, and it's my favorite track probably in the entire Automata saga. Just how this song ebb and flows, how it transitions from one piece to another. Each transition feels like it's earned, and that was something that I couldn't say for Automata 1. When we get to the certain playouts on this, where it's more of like that guitar solos or the guitar interplays, like each of those moments really feel earned and really feel like, yeah, they're sticking the landing with what they had built up. And especially the ending of this, where this is what I had mentioned at the beginning of the review, where I was saying they're not necessarily playing on like the peaks of the mountains or within the vastness of the chaos. They're playing in this really mellow environment and just really like playing it soulfully. They're incorporating a lot more of that soul type of playing, and that is such a brilliant idea. And something they haven't really explored all that much, because sure, you're playing a lot of these like really fast and noodly stuff, but if it doesn't have any perch, if it doesn't have any grounding, it almost seems to like float off into the distance. And this was one of the few times where it had that beautiful grounding, and I love that play out within this track. So overall, Automata 2 really, really surprised me. I thoroughly enjoyed this a lot more than I was expecting. It's still not like a full-on masterpiece. It's not like a full-on next real big thing for Between the Buried and Me, and I think a lot of that had to do with the concept of this album and the presentation of this album. Because of the presentation though, and because it's a strange kind of a mix of like a double disc of two albums, but they're not full-length albums, even though they are full-length albums. Like, this is a strange one, even for Between the Buried and Me, and one that I'll probably have to sit with for a little bit as a full project, and then revisit later on. So, I mean, in that case, this is an album that I would definitely go out and pick up in physical format. This is one that I really, really enjoyed, as I mentioned. I think it's a step in the right direction for Between the Buried and Me, and I hope they continue in this particular vein, because after Coma, Eclectic, and Automata 1, I was a little concerned about the direction that Between the Buried and Me were heading in. But now I feel like I'm back on solid ground, and I'm a little bit more confident with where they're going within their career. So that's about it for me for Automata 2 from Between the Buried and Me. What did you guys think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought about this particular project and Automata overall, parts 1 and 2. Let me know of that by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.